This is Robert Steele for SER 316, working in Group Johannesthal on the Memoranda project. I was on the user story 46, which was repurposing the tasks tab to deal with sessions and tracking sessions. Task I dealt with was task 47, renaming task class to session, and that actually encompassed a lot more than just one class. Task 50 was removing unnecessary columns that eventually got renamed into the columns you see now. And task 56, which was verifying the sessions are saved and retrieved in a time sessions or similar file name instead of the task list file. Most of my work was behind the scenes that are not demoable, but you can see that a lot of work has gone into changing the way this appears, and Cord will actually demo some of the more visual changes that were done to the new session or edit session dialog that pops up.
This is Cord Reardon. All of my tasks were for branch 36 to repurpose the tasks tab to be a session tracking log. Task 49, add a start time field. Task 74, add an end time field. And task 48, remove the start date date picker from the session dialog window and have it set automatically when creating the session. Task 52, replace the end date date picker from the session dialog with a button that ends the session. And task 75, added a method to return the session length in seconds and added another method that would format it like so.
This is Brenda Reardon. I worked on user story number 5, color scheme. Task number 73 was to generate a color scheme using an online tool. Here's the one we came up with. I also worked on task 78 to apply the color scheme to the project, and let's take a look at how that looks now. As you can see, the splash page has been updated, as well as the dashboard. The projects table and the highlight have also changed. The toolbar and the calendar pop-out also have the updated colors, as well as the date bar here at the top. A lot of the other tabs weren't really affected since they don't have the same style of headers that the dashboard has. I also helped with user story number 46, repurpose the tasks tab to be a sessions tracking log. I worked on task number 55 to alter the tie-in to the dashboard to display sessions in a more meaningful way. Previously, this had task information and the progress bar to determine how far along you were with that task. That information has been removed, and now you just see the start date of any current sessions you have going on, as well as the time elapsed. That updates every time the tab is refreshed. It also indicates if you have no sessions in progress, and when you close a session, it will no longer display on this page. It will just show up in the sessions tracking log. Thank you.
My name is Matthew Cleary, and I was responsible for User Story 6, Task 57, implementing the GUI for the PSP defect log. You can begin by creating a new task with the description, the phase it was injected and removed, the type of defect, and any fixed time and reference. The phases and defect types were populated from enumerations. You can later go back and edit this defect, entering the fixed time once complete and any fixed reference if necessary. And finally, if needed, you can also delete any defects. I was also responsible for User Story 60, Task 63, implementing the GUI for the PSP estimate form. And in the same manner, you can create a new code module which would include a description and the initial estimated lines of code. You can later go back and edit it, adding the completed actual lines of code of the project. And if necessary, you can also delete the code module.
Hey, this is Thomas Curry, and I was working on user story 59 for this sprint, which involved creating a PSP summary form for the Memoranda program. The two tasks I chose were to create a form for the project summary and to create the graphic user face for that summary. So you can see here I created a new icon and panel for the form. The form has all these text fields that the user can input information into, and future iterations will be able to save the information that the user has inputted and possibly fill in parts of this form based on the user's history. And that's all I did for this sprint. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David Arnold, and I worked on user story 43, which was composed of tasks 64 through 66 and tasks 68 through 72. In Sprint 1, we created password protection, but if you recall, the username and password was hard-coded into the program. In this sprint, we wanted to enhance password protection by allowing the user to create their own username and password. Upon launch, Memoranda searches locally for the existence of login credentials. If the information does not exist and the user is prompted to enter a username and password of their choosing. A second password field exists to verify that the password the user entered is indeed one that they wanted. If it is not a match, then they are prompted to re-enter their password again. Upon successful creation of user information, they are taken to the login screen, upon which they are then taken to the program itself. The newly created login information persists locally on the user system, so upon returning to Memoranda, it will be taken directly to the login screen. Thank you. I would like to take a moment to present our sprint backlog for Sprint 2. You'll see here that we did have 30 tasks in all, of which we closed out 26. We did have 2 user stories that we were not able to close out. They still had tasks remaining on the board that were unassigned. User story 46 had 2 tasks, and user story 59 had 2 tasks as well. We did complete tasks for these user stories, but we were not able to close out the user story. And you will notice that both these user stories had high point values, 8 points for 59, and user story 46 had a point value of 15. Thank you.